Happy St. Patrick's Day, guys! The Horror Man back ranking all 8 movies in the Leprechaun franchise. Seems pretty obvious, right? It's St. Patrick's Day, so Jason and I are ranking this franchise. Full disclosure, Leprechaun has never been a favorite series of mine. If you watched my franchise Frenzy videos last year, you probably got that idea. Regardless, some of them can still be fun if I'm in the right mood. Typically, I do tend to watch them around this time of year. Like with all of my other rankings, I will start with my least favorite and work my way to my favorite Leprechaun film. I make these decisions based on criteria such as nostalgia, rewatchability, and overall enjoyment. This is just my opinion, and you don't have to agree, or even understand. And because Jason is ranking this franchise as well, please be sure to check out his video to see how his compares to mine. So, here we go. In honor of St. Patrick's Day, this is Leprechaun Ranked. In last place, or 8th place in this case, is Leprechaun Back to the Hood. I know this has some fans, but truthfully, it's a chore to get through for me. It's also one of those movies I watch and forget hours later. I just think it's overly silly. I don't hate it, but I'm not really a fan. So Leprechaun Back to the Hood is in last place in my ranking. This VHS is pretty rare though. Next up is Leprechaun in the Hood, which I don't own individually, but it is included on this Blu-ray set. Right there. It's the 5th movie in the franchise and the predecessor to Leprechaun Back to the Hood. Obviously, the most memorable thing about this one is that damn song. Lep in the Hood up to do no good. I do prefer In the Hood to Back to the Hood, but not by much. Coming in 6th place is Leprechaun 2. This is one of the movies in this franchise that I used to like more. In fact, I always think I do until I watch it. There are things I like about it, and it's miles away from how I feel about the In the Hood movies, but it's still not a favorite. The storyline of Leprechaun trying to find his bride is fun. I also like the Hollywood tour aspect, but still, like most of the others, it's just too silly for me. It is worth a watch every once in a while, though. Coming in at number 5 is Leprechaun 4, In Space. You know, this one isn't too bad. You would think with a title like Leprechaun in Space, or just the overall concept of putting the leprechaun in space, that this one would be the silliest of all. Turns out that's not the case, and it kind of works. I hadn't remembered much about this one. It had been years since I had seen it. But then Jason and I rewatched it for Franchise Frenzy last year. During that viewing is when I realized how much I did enjoy it. It's still not something I'd choose to watch all that often, but it's good for what it is. Leprechaun 4 in Space is in 5th place. In 4th place is Leprechaun 3. At one time, I would have said this was my favorite Leprechaun movie. I really like the setting in particular. Putting the leprechaun in Vegas just makes so much sense. I mean, he's looking for gold. Where better to find it than a casino? There are also some cool kills in this one and really fun effects. I'd say Leprechaun 3 is one of the most entertaining of the bunch. In 3rd place, which I know is an unpopular opinion, I have Leprechaun Origins. People hate this one. I'd say I get it, but I don't. Jason and I gave this one a positive spin. Early on in the series, in fact. I understand it's much different from the other movies in this franchise, but honestly, it's objectively one of the best films. It's a truer horror movie compared to the wackiness of the others. I also like the characters and love the Ireland setting. The leprechaun creature effects are really good, and I love the folklore elements of Origins. I truly feel this is one of those movies that people just brush off because other people hate it. Or it's a case similar to Halloween 3, where people say, if it wasn't called Leprechaun, I'd like it. Hate to tell you, but the title of a film shouldn't determine how good it is. And in my opinion, of course, Leprechaun Origins is good. That's why it's in third place for me. In second place is the original Leprechaun. It's how many of us were introduced to Jennifer Aniston before she went on to star in some smash hit sitcom called Friends. I like her group of friends in this though too. I like the cast in Leprechaun. Obviously, Warwick Davis is awesome in the first 6 of these movies. And who could not like Mark Holton as Ozzy? This first Leprechaun film also features a highly memorable kill, the pogo stick. This has always been an interesting one to me. I've never loved it, but at times I do feel like watching it because of the nostalgia I have for it. I remember it being a weekend movie in the 90s and watching it on TV often. But I also remember watching it those times and feeling like I really wasn't into it. For some reason, it would lose my attention at certain points. I will say I probably do enjoy it more now because of the nostalgia, which is why I have it at number 2. And that means my number 1 favorite movie in the Leprechaun franchise is Leprechaun Returns. This is the 8th, and as of right now, final film in the franchise. But I do hope they do more. And despite admitting I'm not a huge fan of this series, that's because I loved Leprechaun Returns. This is another horror requel done right. It's a direct sequel to the original, and I love what they did with it. There are some great throwbacks to the first film with a modern touch. And if you haven't seen it, let me just say, more than just The Leprechaun Returns. If I ever am in the mood to watch one of the movies in this franchise, it's usually Leprechaun Returns, which is why it's my favorite in the series. So there you have it, guys. My ranking of all 8 movies in the Leprechaun franchise. What do you think? How would you rank these films? Comment below and let me know. Don't forget to check out Jason's video as well to see how he has Leprechaun Ranked. Which franchise will we rank next? Check back soon to find out. Until then, happy St. Patrick's Day again. And remember, physical media matters. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that thumbs up and be kind. Subscribe.